Did you get to hear any of Peyton Royce and Billy Kay on Renee Paquette's podcast? So one of the big topics that they talked about, and Andrew Thompson did transcribe the answer, was their big issue that they have, even though their non-competes are coming up in just a couple of weeks because they were part of the April cuts, is the status of their green cards. They said, we're not allowed to work until we get those or until we can find some sponsorship anywhere else. They said, we're excited, but we have all this freedom and we have so many ideas, but we have to pump the brakes because we can't do any of it. They're doing a podcast, which they said they're not making any money off of. It's purely just to get our name out there and kind of stay relevant. It's been tough just knowing that we have all these things we want to do, but we can't do it. And said that we've been in this process for 4 years, which is basically unheard of. And the fact is that they're just dealing with this apparently extremely difficult process of going through the government of getting their green cards. And that's going to stall. I am not an expert on how all of this works. Like if a company would be able to, speed this through, if they were to hook up with a certain wrestling company that can speed the process through. But the fact they've been dealing with this for 4 years while they were in WWE tells me this is hardly a process that even with the right people that know how to cut down on time, it's not a snap your fingers and just suddenly you get these green cards.
It is something you as a wrestling fan, we don't really think about when we're thinking about, why a wrestler might stick with a particular company. But in this case, I think, we can all appreciate them being so honest about some of these issues. And it's a major factor of, one of the really shitty things about this whole thing that makes it even worse. So I really wish them the best. It's really unfortunate that we're not going to immediately see them. It sounds like maybe even at the end of these 90 days. So it's, I keep thinking, okay, well, isn't Peyton married to such and such? Sean Spears is a Canadian. So I she maybe should have picked an American to marry, but no, but maybe that's even that probably wouldn't have been so smooth and so easy. I believe Renee herself has kind of talked about visa issues being part of the reason why she was with the WWE for the time that she was at.
Chelsea Green she was part of those cuts too. I mean, she's talked about the fact that she needs a visa and a green card as well. That's, it's something for Canadians or not Americans that you don't always take into consideration. But I found it to be a very, very open and honest conversation that they had where, they were very open about the fact these cuts have done a number on these two who, people might not be aware, but, Jessica McKay, Billy Kay, she has been in the industry since 2007 in Australia. Peyton Royce started in 2009. This was their big dream, was getting to the WWE, and it's kind of the double whammy of you get cut, and for some, it's the silver lining of this freedom and all these options. They don't really have that because of this whole green card issue that here they are, they're very much in just career limbo. So it's very unfortunate. It seems like it's been very rough on them too.
Yeah, you really feel for them if you listen to this. And beyond that, of course, it's it's the social aspect of it all too. To be pulled away from people that it sounds like they really considered as part of their family. Yes, you could stay in touch, but to not have a reason to go see each other. See, I'm really bad at that, John. If we didn't work together,
you wouldn't talk to me.
You
would
have to make the
me.
effort. I'd be terrible at it. So, yeah, it's extremely heartbreaking, and it doesn't just go for these two, but for anybody who was recently announced as released and having to make major life changes. So, the honesty was certainly appreciated and refreshing to hear.